Alright, we got another compass drill today. So today we're working on infighting, taking an angle when you're up close, okay? So, a lot of infighting is not pretty. It's going to be rough. There's going to be wrestling, grappling, and a lot of it is kind of the opposite of the traditional boxing methods that you're usually taught, okay? We want to be square. You know, we're going to be grappling and wrestling. We want to have a good base. We want to have both punches available, and we want to have a full range of head movement, so we're working from a pretty square stance here. Think peekaboo style, think Chavez, Canelo, you know, Duran. Really good infighters. They had like a really grappling kind of style, okay? So what we do is we got this compass here, and we're going to go to each line. So I'm coming up to this horizontal line here, straight horizontal line in the concrete. I got my lead foot is maybe like a half step in front of my rear foot. The ball of my rear foot is about in the middle of my lead foot for balance, okay? So people freak out about standing too square, but it's part of fighting. I mean, especially infighting. So you need to learn how to do this stuff. Like, you can't just be half of a fighter. You know, you got the outboxing style, you need an infighting, a pressure, a forward moving style as well, right? So this is the other half of the coin that we got to be comfortable doing, right? You can have a preference, but we got to be able to do both, okay? So look at guys like Sugar Ray Leonard, like he can do both, and that's why he's one of the best fighters to ever live, right? Okay, so feet just almost square, lead foot a little bit ahead. I'm going to bend my knees and dip down a little bit. This is what's going to stop me from that, oh, you get knocked down if you stand square. Yeah, if you're standing straight up and down like this, if I sit down like this a little bit, I can shift my weight from foot to foot. Now I'm more in like almost like a wrestling stance, right? Like, do you see wrestlers just getting pushed over, right? Do you see judokas? Judo fighters, they get right up next to each other. Completely square like this pretty much. Are they just getting pushed over? No, because they got a bend in their knees. They drop their weight. They can sink into the ground and absorb any pushes or pulls, right? That's what we want here. So I'm going off this horizontal line in the concrete now. So I can lean over use the front foot position, throw a flurry on the back foot position here. So the cool thing about the square stance is there's not that big of a difference between southpaw and orthodox. So I basically got a left foot position and a right foot position instead of like the traditional front foot and back foot positions in my regular stance. Now it's much more of a left foot, right foot, right? Think about Mike Tyson. He'll hit you with either hand. It doesn't matter. Wherever you are, whichever hand is closest is the one he's going to hit you with, okay? So from here, got a tight guard. We can throw a combo, and then I'm going to kind of do a little slip or dip, and I shift over to the blue line. Bop, 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 bop. Shift over to the next concrete line. To the orange line. Bop, bop, bop. Bop, bop, bop. You go all the way around the circle and then go back. Blue line, orange, concrete. Okay? Okay, so you can start off just throwing one or two punches every time you shift, but at first you might need to just get the shifting down first, okay? So what we do is I want to go, the direction I want to go, to the left here, weight goes to the left leg, and then I do a little shuffle. That's it. Now the key here is as soon as I land, that's when I want to throw my combo, right? I ended on my left foot again, shift, boom, boom. Now if I go the other way, put the weight on the right foot, shift. I want to go to the right again, boom. Okay? So get comfortable with just doing the footwork first. Then add maybe a punch or two. But eventually we want to get these flurries, right? The pace of infighting is fast. We got to throw fast combos. And then we got to move because, you know, he's going to try to grab you. He might try to elbow you, right? We got to have good head movement. We got to have good defense from this position. So that's where these little angle changes come into play, okay? Every now and then we might do a big one, but for the most part, we got to get used to these tiny angle adjustments first, okay? Okay, so now let's take a look at what this would look like in real life, okay? So we're up close with our opponent. That means I don't want to be straight up and down like this. I don't want to be too bladed because now he's got two weapons, I only got one. I got no balance going backwards like that, okay? I want to be facing my opponent, squared up like we talked about. Have a tight, high guard, hands in close. You can be relaxed and loose like this on the outside, but when you get close to your opponent, you got to close up those openings. So here we are on the inside here. Got to be prepared to grapple, right? Pin, frame, pull, push, all of that. Okay, so that's what this looks like in real life, right? We're right up close, got our infighting stance. We throw 2 or 3 punches, and then we shift the angle, right? Okay, so like we talked about earlier, when you're up close like this, from your square stance, orthodox and southpaw don't really matter anymore. It's not that big of a change as when you're in your regular stance. Okay, so check it out. Right, I'm kind of standing orthodox basically, but when I shift over, right, I might end up in this kind of southpaw position, right? And it doesn't matter, right? The pace is too high to be worried about that kind of thing. You're just, you know, you're in infighting mode. You're grappling, you're wrestling, peekaboo style, okay? So try this drill, it's really fun, and like the video, see you in the next one. Peace.